السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. I think this is a bit later than usual, but maybe I prefer it this way. First of all, it has been a week now since we asked people what would you like to study on YouTube, on this platform on YouTube, outside of the curriculum taught at al-madrasa, and we gave them four choices: التذكرة by القرطبي, وآداب الإملاء والاستملاء by السمعاني, Ash-Shifa by al-Qadi Iyad, and something else, and they should write it in the comments. Let's start with people's choices in the comments. Someone said that he wants to study the authentic Hanbali Aqidah in this channel. Unfortunately, this might not be possible to dedicate a dars explaining a book on a serious matter like this on YouTube. It's not the suitable platform. Why? Because in a dars like this, you need to have a controlled environment. And you understand how YouTube works, even with all the options that enable us to control the environment, it's still not enough. والعلم الشريف, دروس العلم الشريف, this should be done in a very specific way, and not just on YouTube. And I need to know you, for instance. This is probably the most important thing. I need to know you, to see you. Yes, for instance, if you come to the dars and you do not have your name, and we encourage people even to open their cameras, but if you do not have your name written in a clear way, not just your first name, your full name, you will not be admitted, you will not be allowed in the first place. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair. Yes. So authentic Hanbali Aqidah, this should be studied by people who are dedicated to al-ilm al-sharif, not taught to the public on YouTube. Maybe in a masjid, but not on YouTube. So to the public in a masjid, but not on YouTube again. And by the way, we've discussed some of the masail of al-aqaid here on this channel, in some of the videos on this channel. Another person said books of Shaykh Harith al-Muhasibi rahimahullah, especially given that it has been said that Imam Ahmad rahimahullah had reservations about him. And if it's true, then I can't really teach these books. I know it's true, but if you investigate a little bit more, you'll find that it's true, and that I can't actually teach al-Harith al-Muhasabi's books, because this tasawwuf is not the tasawwuf that Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu would approve of. The tasawwuf of al-Hanabila is a Salafi tasawwuf, Athari tasawwuf, true Salafi, not crazy Salafi, or not crazy contemporary Salafi thing. Yes. Another comment. This is a very long one, but if I remember correctly, it's on literature or poetry that discusses very specific themes. This is a very interesting suggestion. I do not think I will be able to do this. We barely convince people to study literature and poetry. We keep encouraging them. We, as he mentioned, as you mentioned, or as he mentioned, I taught Al-Mutanabbi a couple of years ago, Now we are teaching al-Qasida, al-Burda al-Sharifa. Yes, and and people find literature difficult in general. It's not a part of our culture. By our culture, I mean the culture of students of knowledge, the culture of I'm not sure how to label us in this case. يعني usually in from your perspective, العلم is just studying الفقه والحديث والتفسير والعقائد, and this is not really true. Literature is a very important discipline that should not be studied because it helps you with anything, but it should be studied art for art's sake, as we said before in some of the videos here on the channel. So I might consider literature in general, but not this very specific or these very specific topics, unfortunately. Now the results of this poll, where يعني 75% الشفاء بالقاضي عياض. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا ومرحبا. 75% الشفاء by القاضي عياض. I will tell you a story about my يعني my I've always been interested in teaching الشفاء or reading. To be honest, reading الشفاء to the students the same way I heard it from the مشايخ in الجامع الأزهري الشريف. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you so much. جزاكم الله خير. الله يحفظكم. So, but if you are interested, 4% said something else, and these are the comments, I guess. These are 110 votes, so 4%, something else, and they wrote it in the comments apparently. الأدب الإملاء والاستملاء 6%. This is disappointing. This is a great book, but people do not understand it from the title because it teaches students the adab, the manners, the etiquette of dictation and the reception of dictation when al hadith is narrated to them. And then if you extend the discussion in these books and you appropriate them a little bit, you'll be able to see that this is a book on the manners of students in general and the manners of the mashayikh as well. The teachers who dictate the hadith to the students receive the hadith from the teachers. And 75% al-shifa by Qadiyat. So because this is a democratic channel, so just do al-shifa, inshallah. Can we suggest further books for study in madrasa in this stream? Sure, yes, you can definitely. I will try to discuss them with you maybe now, and then if I find that these suggestions are suitable, then I might take a note of them. However, we will probably proceed with Ash-Shifa, not now, not in this stream, in other streams that would have a different title. I think it would be Sharh al-Shifa or a commentary on Shifa, something like this. Barak alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's good to see you, ya Sheikh Heath. Hafizakumullah. Barakallahu fikum. So, it's a Shifa. The story of Shifa is the last intensive, two of the mashayikh from America. I do not think, I'm not sure, I do not like mentioning people's names unless they are yeah, unless they give me permission to mention their name. So two of the mashayikh from America, they came and they brought this very nice edition of Ash-Shifa lil-Qadi Iyad radiyallahu anhu. Before that, my experience with Ash-Shifa was that I heard it in Jami al-Azhar al-Sharif, and that I read the explanation of Shihab al-Khafaji. It's a very Azhari, very long explanation, huge, 4 volumes. I'm not sure if I can show you now. I think it's, yes, this is the second or the third volume. Yeah. So it's these dense explanations, if you can see in yeah. So and this is Shihab al-Khafaji, yes, and on the margins you have Mullah Ali al-Qari. So 2 explanations. This is the one I always read. This is the one I've actually read before, even before attending the majalis of Al-Azhar al-Sharif, on the majalis of reading or reciting Ash-Shifa in Al-Azhar al-Sharif. These have 2 different commentaries or short hawashi or so, and they came to me and they said, "Listen, Qadi Iyad, the author of the book, is Maliki, and this is a Hashiyah by a Shafi'i, and this is a Hashiyah by a Hanafi, and you are Hanbali, so hopefully you will put your hawashi on it." It was a very nice gesture, and I really like what they did there, and I think I will do this in our durus here, inshallah. This is a great topic because we are praising the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this gives us a chance to praise the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to teach people that it is obligatory for one to learn how to love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially that that sometimes it seems like some people around us, they do not love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even when they try to deny this or to say otherwise. Unfortunately, it's their culture, the environments where they practice religion or learn about it, or these things. Unfortunately, I thought maybe about Al-Sarim Al-Maslul على شاتم الرسول by Shaykh al-Islam, or its mukhtasar by Shaykh Muhammad ibn Ali al-Ba'd. Would be an interesting book for study. Yes, these are interesting suggestions. I prefer the original by Shaykh al-Islam, Sarim al-Maslul. I might take a note of this actually. Al-Sarim al-Maslul. The problem, I will tell you. خلاص, I wrote it down. The problem with the books of Shaykh al-Islam radiyallahu anhu is I didn't want to discuss this here now. يعني اوكي. الصار المسلول على شاتم الرسول والله يعني a great book, a very beneficial book. المشايخ would definitely encourage people to read it. The problem is Ibn Taymiyyah's style. I will tell you, forget about the Sarim al-Maslul. I'm really interested in teaching the students نقد المنطق. Yes, the criticism of logic, or not sure. I haven't thought about the translation of the title. Let's say it's a book on نقد المنطق by Ibn Taymiyyah. This is a very interesting book. But you see, until you reach what really benefits the student, until you reach the part that is written while taking into consideration the scholarly traditions and the scholarly manners of authoring books of Al-Ilm al-Sharif, you will suffer. A layman wouldn't suffer. A beginning student of knowledge wouldn't suffer. He would just read things that he understands. But with the repetition, with the redundancy, with stating the obvious flaws, deficiencies in any scholarly tradition, in any Islamic scholarly tradition, you see? and you are always burdened with the task of explaining this in a manner that does not allow someone to object by saying, but this has already been said, why is he repeating it here? So you will have to come up with excuses, and I find this very exhausting, but I've already done it, you see. Sheikh Taqiyuddin radiallahu anhu, when he writes, sometimes he writes as if he's writing, and this is actually this is the reality. Sometimes, most of the time, he wrote because he was writing a letter to someone who wrote him a letter, and he's responding to it. He doesn't often take into consideration the what scholarly traditions dictate. طبعا as a Wahhabi بقى يعني you can't justify this in every way. خلاص لكن some of my mashayikh would say Ibn Taymiyyah is really annoying. We can't really read his books anymore. We used to read his books when we were young, but now we are too old. we, we can't do this anymore. I hope that I do not reach this one day. Anyway, I you know what? Most of the time you go and you teach something, and this does not need preparation. For Ibn Taymiyyah's books, you need preparation. You might say, the crazy because the book is very difficult because of the scholarship of Sheikh Taqiyuddin radiallahu anhu. This is not true. The book is not difficult. The book's language is quite easy. On the contrary, the book's language is quite easy. Yes, lack of organization. This might be something that makes the book difficult. However, at the end of the day, we learned in Azhar al-Sharif that the book's author should be defended always, unless you ran out of excuses. You do not want to meet the students without having prepared some excuses. Yes. To the extent that when it comes to Naqd al-Mantiq, I was thinking about delegating the first part of the book to one of the senior mashayikh, wallah, because they have already covered this not once, not twice, 10 times at least, in books of Shaykh al-Islam al-Muwaffaq and other books, and in a better way. And Ibn Taymiyyah is just repeating himself. And he's telling you, I do not tolerate statements like a sunnah is the right path. I do not tolerate. Guess what? A sunnah is the right path. I thought that the tashayyu is the right path, but now you're surprising me. And these are the things that preachers do and say most of the time. Yes, stating the obvious. We are scholars. We know this. Let's say the next thing, and let's say the next thing. Especially that you are writing a book. You are not talking to people. If you were just giving a khutbah, repeat all the way, whatever you want to do. This might be criticized, but خلاص, you're giving a khutbah. Yes. Have you ever seen a manuscript written by Sheikh Taqiyuddin radiallahu anhu? He does not lift his hand. He's always in a hurry. He wants to say so much things on his mind. He does not lift. Do you know cursive in English? At least you separate words, صح? لا, he does not even separate words, and there is nothing like cursive in the Arabic language. Certain letters will have to be separated. He does not lift his hand. His hand is just attached to the paper. He is in a hurry. He does not have time to stop, to pause. And this is not the scholarly way of doing things, unfortunately. So this is the challenge with the books of Shaykh al-Islam radiallahu anhu. Even though صارم المسلول والجواب الصحيح ونقد المنطق, I find these books very good, even though نقد المنطق is not really helpful with his general attitude towards speculative theology and some of the logical sciences, let's say. But overall, this might be a very beneficial suggestion, so I will definitely take it into consideration. But remember, we are going to be busy for some time teaching Qadi Iyad's Ash-Shifa. I thought any plans to cover sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. شروح of ahadith, yes. Yes. As a Shafi'i, I'm you are Shafi'i. Okay. Remember, if I make if there are any jokes, take them lightly. Take them like an Egyptian. Yes. With Fath al-Bari for Bukhari. I'm familiar with Fath al-Bari for Bukhari and Sharh of Imam Nawawi for Muslim. What are good Hanbali sharhs for these hadith books? Do you know that before Fath al-Bari, authored by Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, rahimahullah, there had been Fath al-Bari, the original, by Shaykh al-Hafiz Zainuddin ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, radiyallahu anhu. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So now you should go and read Fath al-Bari by Ibn Rajab. Unfortunately, it's an incomplete explanation of of uh, Sahih al-Bukhari. Unfortunately. I know that Ibn Hajar really respected Al-Hafiz ibn Rajab, and maybe he saw that it's proper to call his book Fath al-Bari like Ibn Rajab's incomplete book. This is a great explanation of Sahih al-Bukhari, and it offers you this Hanbali philosophy, Hanbali way of thinking. Unfortunately, a lot of the Hanbali explanations on Sahihain and the books of Hadith are lost. The manuscripts might be there somewhere in the world, especially in Western countries, like they have not been edited yet, or they are completely lost, or they are there is no access to them, and a lot of them have been lost, unfortunately, because of so many elements that we should not mention now here. Yes. Okay. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In light of the oppression of the Ummah, دعاء النصر from Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Qadir, may Allah grant you his love. Ameen, Ya Rab, Ameen. Every day. Make it a part of your wird if you have a wird. And I'd يعني I do not want to say this. خلاص. Let's just say every day, regardless of what happens to the Ummah, Hizb al-Nasr is something that you recite every day, because there is always a battle in your nafs, yeah, with your nafs, inside your nafs, with your nafs. But remember, what happens to the Ummah is never should not be addressed like this. It should not be addressed by dua that one makes, with just dua that one makes, or boycotting some products, or posting on social media, raising people's awareness. Yes, let people do this. If you are a student of knowledge, if you are going to be a scholar one day, if you are on your path to scholarship, then your service to the Ummah should be done differently. Guess what? You should be studying al-ilm. This is the very long battle, whose effects, let's say, results, will not be seen today, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow. صح? But we want to do something now. We want to react now. Then you're not really different from laymen. There is no difference between you and laymen who react to things. They do not sit, contemplate, ponder. لا. Something happened, let's react. Yes. Something happened, let's do something about it. You should have been doing something. And if in the past you never did anything for Al Ummah to be victorious one day, then you should start now. but it's the long path. If you're a layman, please do whatever you can. Boycotting, sure, fine. Yes. Here, for instance, in Egypt, they are boycotting the American products. For instance, among other products. Yeah. Yes. Should you boycott what? The American? If you are American, what should we do about this? You see, I want to tell you, yani, about boycotting some country, but I fear for myself now. So I just leave it there. You see, studying al-ilm al-sharif is supposed to be like a profession. This is the only hope there is. Why? Because it has been 101 years without a caliphate now. Even if you never liked the Ottomans, yes, even if you had so many objections to their system, but at the end of the day, having a caliphate, as some sort of unity, a sense of unity, this means something. This means something. Now you do not have this. It has been 101 years, and guess what? So many things happened in the 101 years. So the Ummah is really different now. Unless you study properly. You study properly or you go fight. Yani, do not misunderstand what I'm saying. But the actual fight, yes, not the waste, not wasting one's time, unless one's time is only can only be used in that. Using social media, uh, raising people's awareness, and these very important things. But this does not probably make the best use of your time and resources if you are becoming a student knowledge. I assume that people who watch me are studying al-ilm and are taking this seriously. I do not suppose they are laymen. Yes. Hizb al-Nasr is something that you recite every day. If you can. If you can. If you can't, then we recommend it to the students. Yani we recommended some forms of Salah al Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is in general. And one should not be imma'. Whatever people do, he does it. Whatever they go, he follows. This is dangerous. The Prophet ﷺ warned us against that. One should have a clear purpose. And Alhamdulillah, this is the easiest thing for us, to find the purpose. We are training, or we have already been trained to be what? Scholars. That's it. I should leave it there now. How would one learn about the Qadiri turuq of today? You do not learn about that. Now, when is it appropriate for one to begin to look? To look for a tariqah? Please do not do this. Now I do not. I have a lot of problems with the contemporary turuq in general. Very few turuq prove to be good. I follow a tariqah, and the tariqah of Sidi Abdul Qadir, a certain branch. My sheikh died, rahimahullah wa radiya anh, unfortunately. And if you know the corruption some of the turuq have, I would say just go find a perfect guiding sheikh. And this doesn't exist anymore. So joining a tariqah that does not have a perfect guiding sheikh should be approached carefully. Yes. Approach me, tell me what do you need to join a tariqah for, and I might be able to help. And I always clarify that I'm not a guiding sheikh, and I should not be a guiding sheikh. And someone who is pursuing scholarship like myself will never be a guiding sheikh unless it's like a miracle. Yes. And I do not see this happening to the best of my knowledge. Yes. Because I know myself at least to an extent. Yeah. So maybe I will be able to help you with theoretical things and reading and knowing more about the tariqah of Sidi Abdul Qadir radiallahu anhu, regardless of its branches. And I do not want to be harsh, but any non-Hanbali branch of Sidi Abdul Qadir's tariqah would have some contradictions with his original tariqah, but people disregard this because of lack of knowledge, because of sometimes I heard about dreams that Sidi Abdul Qadir came to them and said to them, "No, I changed my mind about this issue. So what's claimed in my authentic books is wrong, and what I tell you in the dream is right." And I do not make fun of these people. I will no, thank you. You know this. No, thank you. I'll just stick to what I find with the proper asanid of al-ilm that reaches Sidi Abdul Qadir and his authentic books. Remember, Sidi Abdul Qadir is a Hanbali. Yes, before al-Hanabila are Qadri. This is very important. Sidi Abdul Qadir had been a Hanbali before al-Hanabila became Qadri. And when Sidi Abdul Qadir talks about Imam Ahmad, you'll see that this is his, yani this is the one. This is the one from whom Sidi Abdul Qadir receives guidance. One of the people from whom he receives guidance. Maybe take this into consideration. I hope this suffices you. I saw people who join Turuq, branches of Al-Qadiriyah. You have crazy things, a branch that gathers Al-Qadiriyah and another Tariq. Yes. When it comes to Tasawwuf, I am very strict. I do not understand these things. I do not want to make things unnecessarily difficult for people, but I have the tendency to tell people, listen, it's either Qadiriyah, Hanbaliya or not. So if you're going for the Qadiri tariq, it's either the Qadiriyah, Hanbaliya or not. Like, I always remind myself, remind myself that لا ينبغي أن أضيق واسعا. I should not close this door like this, because a lot of khair might come from non-Hanbali Qadiri branches. Yes. And this is just to the best of my knowledge. Yes. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. بارك الله فيكم. جزاكم الله خير. A question: can you touch on the Hanbali position on Ta'awiz? I think yes, Hanafi fiqh permits it. I'd love to know the Hanbali position. Okay, ماشي. طب let's I do not like these topics, but in general, if you are writing something, ayat of the Quran al-Kareem without disrespecting them, if you're writing them on a piece of paper, if you're writing them in a cup, maybe these are things that mentioned in our madhab, and they are tolerated by our a'imma in general. We definitely believe reciting the Quran to water and reciting the Quran and drinking it and reciting the Quran to Zamzam water, this has always been tolerated by Hanbali scholars. There are other things too, but I do not like discussing these topics. People, this and dreams, and I have knowledge on these things, but people seem to be interested in this for the wrong reasons. It's a part of degraded culture that we should not embrace. وجزاكم الله خيرا. I will endeavor. Okay. Have I missed anything? I actually missed one quite aversive to the Mukhtasar. Could I ask why you said that you'd prefer the original? Wouldn't the Mukhtasar solve the problem of him repeating himself? I have always had a problem with the Mukhtasarat. You are abridging someone else's work, let's take the original. Most of the time, this is my attitude towards books of Al-Ilm al-Sharif. I told you I was reading Naqd al-Mantiq, yes, and it has been abridged by As-Suyuti, if I remember correctly, and it has been translated into English, so it's much easier. Instead of me translating on the spot in the dars, it's much easier that I bring Wa'il Hallaq's translation and Professor Wa'il Hallaq's translation, and I just read it to the students. But no, I can't do this, unfortunately. Yeah, I say it's fine, but I prefer the original. Always, I prefer the original work of any imam. Remember, these small, tiny details you might find very important things in them, especially as for someone like myself who studies the Hadith. Details are really important. Yes. Do you know this way of reading books, the books of Al-Ilm al-Sharif? Wallah, and this paragraph means so and so and so. I do not like this. I like breaking down words and sentences and discussing what pronouns refer to. And I do not like, listen, the general meaning of this paragraph is. This is a Wahhabi Salafi thing, I guess. So we should not be doing this. I've also prepared for tonight something on the Hanbali madhab, but I will try to finish all your comments before, or Al-Fajr will come first, because it's like 20 minutes to Al-Fajr now. So I will go and pray, and I will end this stream. But before that, I will try to read everything that you've written so far. We have, yes, to recite the dua daily. May Allah reward you. Ameen ya Rabb wa iyaakum hafizakumullah ya Shaykh Bilal. And your family and teachers. Ameen. Now and forever. Ameen. Ameen. If only we had more people thinking this way. Allah يحفظكم يا سيدي. جزاكم الله خير. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide everyone to the truth, to Allah's Sirat al-Mustaqim, straight path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you for your answer. Yes, Jazakumullah khairan. I will ask, inshallah. I want to be very cautious. Yes, please be cautious. Choosing the tariqah to follow, taking al-awrad, these are very serious matters. I've never imposed this on anyone, and there is no benefit in having a lot of followers. Yes. Whether you are a guiding sheikh, a scholar who teaches al-ilm, having a huge number of followers without meticulously choosing or selecting them, this is a dangerous attitude towards al-ilm. As if you are saying, okay, al-ilm is just for anyone without qualifications, regardless of qualifications, regardless of anything. Ajib, yeah. And then on the other hand, the student takes the awrad and he does not take this seriously. Before taking the awrad, you are safe. You are not asked to do anything. You take the awrad, now it's like it's a vow, it's a pledge. You have to take this seriously. Otherwise, there will be consequences. You see. Anyway, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you too. As a Hamali position regarding Zahiris, yes. Their claim in regards to Imam Ahmad, also are Zahiri opinions valid? I'm not sure what their claim is towards Imam Ahmad. I have no idea. Contemporary Zahiri are very stupid people. You should not listen to them. I knew one of them who became an atheist, a very famous Zahiri on social media platforms who became an atheist. And he used to call himself Hanbali too. Allah al-Mustan, this is a bala, a trial. Yes. It comes to a Zahiriya like Ibn Hazm, Abu Dawood al-Zahiri, and the other figures of the Zahiri madhab, if you can call it a madhab. These you have few in, these are few individuals who can be considered scholars. They have scholarly contributions that you should respect and benefit from. Especially Ibn Hazm's books, they are really good. I'm not talking about Al Muhalla, definitely, but even in Muhalla, it shows a great potential of a man who could have become a mujtahid of a great madhab among the four madhab, but he chose a different direction. In general, al-fiqh, the actual san'a, the actual skill in fiqh, of al-fiqh, is al-qiyas. Yes. Without al-qiyas, you're not a faqih. Without the capability of conducting proper qiyas, you're not a faqih. This is the reason why it has been said, if there is a house that has been dedicated through waqf to al-fuqaha, so the only ones who enter this house are al-fuqaha, and this is determined by al-waqf. And you know, al-waqf is like a shar'. يعني the ruling of al-waqf is like a shari ruling. They say al-Zahiriya will not enter. They will never enter this house because it's dedicated to al-fuqaha, and the Zahiriya are not fuqaha because they do not know al-qiyas. طبعا يعني الفقه is not just قياس, but it's this main quality of faqih that any faqih will need, even as a mujtahid inside a madhab. You need it for the positions of your imam in that madhab. Jamil. I heard if their opinion was not derived through the rejection of qiyas, that position may be valid. Unfortunately, Ibn Rajab would disagree with you and with whoever said that. The only madhab that can be followed are the four madhab. Yes? And if you follow any position of any other madhab, whether it's a madhab of a companion or a madhab of an imam whose madhab vanished, your following of that position is sinful. And Ibn Rajab establishes this in his response to those who follow other than the four madhab. And we explained that to students before, and it was a course that we taught in Madrasa al-Hanbali. If a student aspires to become a muhaqqiq, serve the madhab by preparing untouched manuscripts and publishing the books of the madhab, doing dirasat, etc. How do you think a student should go about it? Yani, first of all, let's say that this is a student who probably saw that he does not have any potential as a scholar, so he settled for the much lesser wazifa or job, which is to sit down and edit books. There is no scholar on earth who can't edit books properly. Most of the editors nowadays are very bad editors. The majority of editors are bad. Yes, because they are not qualified scholars. Even those who are called qualified scholars, sometimes you see, and he shows you his ijazat and everything that he actually studied al-ilm extensively with people. His contributions are nothing, and his readings of books show his ignorance. So let's say that you are going to be the perfect editor of books. Sure, now you are wasting your potential. You have enough knowledge to be a scholar, but you are settling for editing books. if you see yourself a stupid person, maybe, or if you see yourself maybe not very clever when it comes to al-ulum, because you have to face it, al-ilm is not for everyone. If this is your case, then definitely go and edit books. Who can't among scholars? But yeah, they are busy, so you should be doing this. This is my answer. I'm really sorry if it's harsh. And while discussing this, do you understand that at-tahqiq is a term that has a technical meaning among scholars? One of the definitions of tahqiq is when a ruling, not necessarily a ruling in al-fiqh, yes? Yani when there is a ruling, a judgment that is mentioned with its evidence, probably showing how the evidence led to that ruling. This is the actual meaning of tahqiq. I say this, and the majority of scholars who claim scholarship do not know anything about textual criticism. And I studied this in a Western university. This actually, I would never had my degree. I would never have my degree without studying this, knowing how to to understand books in this form or written discourse in this form in manuscripts. Textual scholarship and textual criticism. Then you have to study ilm hadith. Without mastering these ulum, you are not going to be a good editor of any book. So a scholar can definitely edit books. These people who call themselves muhaqqiqin, and they are really far from the actual quality of tahqiq according to the definitions of tahqiq in the scholarly tradition, those people can't do anything. They can barely buy manuscripts and maybe produce them, publish them, maybe in a nice way, maybe in a with good covers, nice covers, and these things. Yeah, this is just my point of view. Maybe you asked the wrong person, صح? I'm not sure. Hopefully you're not offended by my answer. عجيب جدا. طيب, let's see. Can we what is if a student خلاص جزاكم الله أو جزاكم خيرا. Why are you calling yourself متحمل? Why يا أخي الكريم? What's this? What a stupid name, متحمل. Do you understand do you understand the implication of this name? I understand your stupid question too. At least call yourself حنبلي. Maybe you do, so do you know for sure that you are a fraud? طب at least fix yourself. متحمل. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. And your question is stupid. Do not ask these questions. Go learn something. I thought we wouldn't have these people. خلاص. Listen, if you comment again, I will just ban you or something. Go. Listen. Go study al-ilm al-sharif. Go find the proper shaykh and study al-ilm al-sharif. At least go study the madhab of Imam Ahmad. So that maybe after finishing a book or two, you call yourself Hanbali. And for now, change this stupid name. متحمل. يعني a man comes to you and he says, I am a fraud, I am a hypocrite, and I'm proud of it, and I know it, and I'm proud of it. عجيب. I'll just delete this. Remove, yes. جميل جدا. أعوذ بالله. A rare book in the Hanbali method. I will assume that you know of Al-Kafi by Shaykh al-Islam موفق الدين قدام المقدسي, and Al-Muharrar by Shaykh al-Islam Majd al-Din ibn Taymiyyah, the grandfather of Shaykh Taqi al-Din radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. Yes. And these are the, let's say, the muntaha and the iqna' of their time. Yes. Not in the same manner that they dictate what the relied upon position is, but in the manner that they are studied by everyone in the world. Anyone who seeks the knowledge of the madhab of Imam Ahmad radiyallahu anhu. So we are talking here about Al-Kafi wal-Muharrar. Some people would say, la, it's Al-Muqna'. I agree. It's Al-Muqna' and Al-Kafi. Both books from Shaykh al-Islam al-Muwaffaq, and the book of Al-Muharrar by Majd al-Din ibn Taymiyyah radiyallahu anhu ajma'in. So Al-Kafi by Shaykh al-Islam al-Muwaffaq wal-Muqna' by Shaykh al-Islam al-Muwaffaq are two different books, because Al-Kafi is a more is this extensive book. It's published in 6 volumes now, and Al-Muqna' is just 1 volume. And usually Al-Kafi is written in a manner that it explains itself in a way. It needs hawashi, it needs explanations, but probably hawashi and not explanations. But Al-Kafi has more room for clarification, and also it discusses al-masail without having to respect the language of the concise language of al-matn. Yes. So it's the closest thing to an explanation, to a sharh. And this is a very good Hanbali style of books of al-fiqh. Both Al-Kafi wal-Muharrar were respected by Hanbali scholars of the day, definitely. And remember, this was a time in which Al-Hanabila did not really have the same stable relied upon position as we have it nowadays. So the book might have more than one position. Yes. The book might have more than one position, and it's studied by everyone without needing to know what the relied upon position is, or maybe they would ask the sheikh to whom they read these books to, or with whom they study these books, to whom they read these books, or with whom they read or study these books. Now, this is one of the students of Shaykh Taqi al-Din ibn Taymiyyah radiyallahu anhu, and his name is Abdul Rahman ibn Ubaydan or Ubayd. I think it's Ubaydan, not Abidan, but I need to double check. And this is one of the students of Shaykh Taqi al-Din ibn Taymiyyah, and he was a good, clever Mufti and Hanbali author of his time. He authored other books. He was from Dimashq and probably from Ba'labak. يعني from بلاد الشام, and he authored زوائد الكافي والمحرر على المقنع. When I saw this book, I said to myself, I never knew that this book had existed. And you think that everything is on the internet, but this is not true. Sometimes this is not true at all. Yes. And it has been published in Saudi, and this is actually the second edition of the book زوائد الكافي والمحرر على المقنع. What is the meaning of زوائد الكافي والمحرر على المقنع? He goes to Al-Muqna and he finds masail in Al-Kafi wal-Muharrar that are not discussed in Al-Muqna. So as if he is adding the cases, the fiqhi cases of al-Kafi al-Muharrar on al-Muqna. So when you go and study al-Muqna, you take this with you, and this gives you a very comprehensive study of the method. The Muqna, al-Muqna back at that time was the book that you memorized, was the book that you study in order to be Hanbali. You at some point you might study al-Kafi as well, or you just study al-Kafi, but you will go back and memorize al-Muqna, because al-Kafi is not something that you memorize, because it's a big book. A great memorizer only can memorize a book like al-Kafi. Now you have all the masail covered in al-Kafi wal-Muqna wal-Muharrar. If you just combine these two books, Zawaid al-Kafi wal-Muharrar al-Muqna, and its and al-Muqna by Shaykh al-Islam al-Muwaffiq radiyallahu anhu. What I find really surprising is that I never knew about this book. I just saw that it's being sold by one of these booksellers. Yes, the black market booksellers, like Sheikh Yasin usually says. This is the book. Yeah. The one who edited this book is Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Aziz al-Mani'. Yes, these are Wahhabi mashayikh, but for some reason the Wahhabi mashayikh 100 years ago, 80 years ago, even 70, 60 years ago, they were more knowledgeable when it comes to the Hanbali madhab. They showed more respect to the Hanbali madhab. يعني Ibn Aqil, yes, the Shaykh of Al-Hanabila in Saudi at some point, who died like 13, 14 years ago. He was knowledgeable when it comes to the Hanbali madhab. It's very strange that whenever he writes a book, he chooses to highlight Ibn Taymiyyah's positions that do not belong to the madhab, and he does not really serve the madhab itself. In his private explanations, he would just stick to the madhab. He would answer proper questions. Whenever it's in public, he would just go and highlight or do the Ibn Taymiyyah thing again. But similarly, his Shaykh Sa'di, he was knowledgeable when it comes to the Hanbali madhab. He knew the Hanbali, he knew enough. Yani, they all had the same tendency of distorting the Hanbali madhab when it comes to the masail they do not like the masail of tawassul or other masail of al-fiqh, or the masail of graves and the masail of tawassul. لكن يعني what I find interesting here is that he is introducing the book or the books properly. He's saying this is these are the authors, these are and he knows what allows him to show you that, you know what, Fulan said so and so in his poem, and this is the same idea. Who knows, who is interested in knowing that there is a book that adds the masail that doesn't exist in al-Muqna to al-Muqna from two important sources like al-Kafi wal-Muharrar? Yani, who would do this? Yes, and he is carefully discussing the resemblance here. That this sounds like something else that someone did in the past. وهكذا. يعني طبعا misconceptions when it comes to Hanbali madhab, but these were very, very common. The same lies. There is a Hashia, unclaimed Hashia on al-Muqna. But when he had the chance to mention al-Muqna, he mentioned it, and they are repeating this lie that I do not believe. Wallahi, we know good hawashi written by Wahhabi. Yes. Hashiyat Ababtin, for instance, on Rawd al-Murbi. It has benefits. حاشية أبابتين على شرح منتهى الإيرادات, but it's not that good, but it's something that you should have, and you should see what he says there, because it might be beneficial on some level. حاشية العنقري على الروض المربع, okay, it's also fine. Yes, Ibn Qasim, but Ibn Qasim is not that important, and he's not that knowledgeable after all. Ibn Qasim al-Najd, you see. So I can tell you that, yeah, they had contributions to the books of the Madhab that has their craziness still, but you can benefit something. Unlike the following generations of Ibn وابن باز والفوزان خلاص بقى at this point it was really خلاص nothing that they can really add to the madhab. Because of what they are lacking in the first place. Anyway, there is this hashi. We do not know to whom it belongs, the author of the hashi. But they've probably found it in the handwriting of one of Ibn Abd al-Wahhab's grandsons. Yes. اللي هو سليمان ibn Abdullah ibn Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. فخلاص, it became his. Even when you go to the manuscripts, to the best of my knowledge, there is no evidence that this is Sulaiman ibn Abdullah ibn Muhammad ibn Abdullah. لكن ماذا تصنع؟ خلاص, it was too late for anyone to discuss this. So it became his hashi. And I think this is a big lie, but no one cares. The hashiyah is actually fine. The hashiyah on al-Muqna, it's not an important hashiyah, but it has good insights. This hashiyah on al-Muqna that he is talking about. Yeah. I think I will conclude it here. Well, we have two questions. So, is there a reason why al-Muharrar received much more khidmah than al-Kafi? Because of the nature of al-Muharrar, the way it's written, it's like al-Muqna. So if you want this comparison to be valid, compare between the service al-Muharrar received with the service that al-Muqna received. Al-Kafi is a different book. It's an extensive book. So there was Hawashi, by the way, but it's a difficult book because its service is a very difficult task. You wouldn't be able to do so easily. What do you think should be our behavior with Wahhabis? The insults, many of them warrant Ace and Awliya Ta'zir. I think I'm not sure if I understand this. Okay, in general, do you on an individual level, just ignore them. When you become a sheikh, warn people against them. If you know someone who needs to know answers, try to help him. طبعا بالحسنى try to help him as an individual. When you address the group, Al-Wahhabi as a group, you have to clarify that they are the most stupid sect in the history of Islam, and this is really obvious, or the stupidest sect in the history of Islam. And they should be attacked, and they should be warned against, and they should be threatened by highlighting what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made as a punishment for people like them, for liars like them, for khawarij like them. We should read books against them. But again, I will repeat this. This should be done until it suffices, at least people around you, and then you should dedicate your time to more important masail of al-ilm sharif. Spending time talking about Wahhabiyya without doing anything else, a waste of time and a waste of scholarly potential. What do you خلاص. There is a hashia of Tahrir by Al-Munaqqih. It is said that it were footnotes of Al-Mardawi himself. I think it was found by Ibn Baz's father. Yes. What are your thoughts about these? These are very few comments, if I understand correctly. Yes, very few comments. It's like when you're writing a book and then you write some clarifications on the margins. Yeah, I know about this on the Tahrir. So yeah, and you have something like Tahbir. These are very few comments, and um, I'm not sure if they have any proper benefit. I would sit and I have already explained parts of Tahrir on the Mutawatir Hadith without referring to anything like that. If you go and find any manuscript, you will find comments on the margins of the book, by the author himself, by one of the students, by some of the later scholars. It's very common. طيب, I'll leave you now. I will go and pray, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum, jazakumullahu khairan. Remember, we will, inshallah, sit to explain Al-Shifa, Qadi Iyad. So maybe you start preparing your versions or copies of the book. Yes, and I will never be able to tell you when, but it will always be there on the channel, so you can follow the recordings if you can't attend the live sessions themselves. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.